Ladies and gentlemen, we're joining you once more at the ESL this time around. We saw ECL last week. This time we got some more action here in the Ember Esports League. My name is Sherry J. I'll be your main host, joined by QSD, who will be coming in for the game. Unfortunately, for the drafts, we'll have to dip out. But this is going to be a crazy matchup. The teams coming onto the left for this game certainly aren't going to be looking to give their opponents an easy win. They're looking for the win. They're going to look to try and make it happen right here, right now. This time, we're going to an ARAM. We saw last week a little bit of Mundo action, playing some dodgeball. Now, going up to a one-lane, one-winner gameplay. As we look towards the character selection, it's going to be the Mordekaiser versus the Malzahar. The players chosen, it will be the Rocklius versus the one, the only, King Vivi. So, maybe a little bit of a One Piece reference, not totally sure what that's going off of. The spells chosen by these two, a little bit on the interesting side. You look at the Ghost and Barrier comparatively to the Ignite, as well as the, oh my gosh, why is that name not coming to me? Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a great game, though. Obviously, look at the Mordekaiser. Their whole game plan here is going to be looking to get in close and then just close the gap with summoner spells, right? With how much that they do have, it's going to be a situation where they are primarily going to be looking to get this kill early. They're not trying to extend the length of the game. Meanwhile, King Vivi has a lot of sustainability with the Ghost, with the Barrier, two abilities that are likely going to be able to give them a big gap between them and their opponent and constantly force them into situations where it really just becomes ever so much more difficult to get out of. Now, the Malzahar, it's an interesting pickup. I think you get a lot of priority in this, and it's definitely one of the easier champions to pilot due to the fact that there is so much versatility with the kit. Obviously, you hit level 6, you're gonna be able to get yourself up with the ultimate, lock them in place, get those minions as well down who are gonna be able to chip them a little bit in that aspect. The damage from your kit in general doesn't really require a whole lot of items, similar to the Mordekaiser, but the Mordekaiser having to get 3 hits off just to be able to get the maximum amount of damage, it definitely does start to stray into the realm of disappointment. Now, 18 CS to 10, it's definitely not ideal just yet. I think something that could have been interesting to see might have been the Ornn. Obviously not a pick that, works too well, but when you kind of consider the fact that I don't think either of these players can build an item. I'm not totally sure on the rule set of this. I'd imagine it's just first to 1 kill or first to like 100 CS or first to take a turret, something along those lines. It does make you wonder whether or not gold efficiency really is gonna matter too much. Already taking them to Brazil, utilizing those abilities, getting them all slowed up, and King Vivi already forced out of the barrier and taken down. That's first blood. Whether or not that's going to turn into game, yep, they are just going to leave the game. So that is KKG with the opener as they take a 1-0 start in this, or not 1-0 start, but they take the lead. They get to choose their side. They get to choose their side of the draft. It's looking good. So Kingdom of Kittens, Gasai already off to a hot start. Jolly Roger Black Pearl definitely going to need to you know figure out how they're going to be able to play the best out of this draft, and whether or not that is going to come down to being able to counter pick in some aspects, or just going to just go full throttle with your own game plan and not worry about what your opponents are going to try and draft. Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're joining you once more as Jolly Roger Black Pearl taking on Kittens, Kingdom of Kittens, Gasai. These two teams, they've taken their 1v1. It was KKG who took the lead, took the win in the end. The Mordecais are coming on top. Now, as we head on into the draft, we'll see what these two teams will inevitably look to opt into. Already starting this off, both teams banning out these bot laners, looking to take out the ADC pool as much as possible. The Ash ban, as well as the Smolder on the other side of things, the Jinx and Varus both getting taken out. So really looking to pinch this as much as possible. That definitely does start to lean in my mind to maybe something like a Misfortune to get locked in, especially in the side of this Jolly Rogers Black Pearl squad, right? They want to try and get ahead early. They don't want that Smolder to be able to kind of let them take the room. And instead, now and going for some of these more mid to jungle ranges with the 5 ban ensuing, as well as the Galio on the other side. Now, Jolly Roger Black Pearl getting their choice of selection. We'll see what they do end up opting in for. Do they want to start with those ADC picks? Something that definitely seems like Kingdom of Kitten Gasai has a little bit of an intention to really say, yeah, we're going to be the ones to ban these out, and we're going to look to keep banning them out in our second phase. The answer is going to be no. They take the Thresh, something that actually me and our producer today, Last Raven, just saw earlier today in the European leagues. It's a prevalent pick right now. It's getting a little bit more popular for sure. A lot of tankiness, a little bit of poke on the other side of things. The Caitlyn lock, as well as the Wukong to get brought out. So two picks that really do scream that they want to just play for the mid game, right? Caitlyn really good when they get that lethality online. Wukong super good at trying to get the Void Grubs on the line fast and early. Their Cyclone's a great engaging tool that can easily flip fights around. Now on the other side is Swain to get locked, looking to possibly put that in the bot lane. Could definitely be in mid or top as well. I think Jolly Roger Black Pearl, they're a team that, I mean, I've seen them in a few leagues. They've definitely had their competitive experience, and that certainly does speak to the prevalence that this team can show. They're a good roster, and obviously Kingdom of Kittens Gasai, they're probably in a little bit of a similar boat, right? They lost in that 1v1 Jolly Roger Black Pearl, so it certainly does show that maybe the mechanics might not be there as much as they could be. The Pantheon now getting picked out. One of the most versatile picks in the game. Now, with the Thresh already on the board, it definitely does speak to the fact that Pantheon likely not a crazy support pick. It might be in the mid lane, it might be in the top lane, could be in the jungle. I think it would be more likely than not to be placed in jungle just because of how good Pantheon jungle has been recently. Seraphine, the next lock, looking to maybe play with the Caitlyn, maybe play in the mid lane. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes mid, just because Caitlyn's Seraphine doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of survivability. You're going to be relying a lot on your E to be able to work into these games, and I mean, yes, that can work, but realistically, is that going to be the best option? I'm not entirely sure. So, let's see what they are going to end up opting in for in terms of the bans. The Nasus ban to be the first. That certainly is a interesting choice. On the other side of things, the Silas to get banned. See what this next follow-up does look like. I mean, the NASA is certainly something that you only really ban if you're confirming the fact that they're likely going to look to play towards it. And so maybe Jolly Roger Black Pearl does have that Nasus one trick on the roster. And as they are now looking to take their final ban of the game, we'll see what they do end up opting in for. It is going to be a Malphite, so they're really looking to pinch out these top laners, getting the armor-filled tops out of the realm of possibilities. Now for the final few picks and ban. Let's see what Jolly Roger Black Pearl will inevitably opt in for. Can they make that crucial choice? The Irelia. I mean, that's an interesting choice. I don't think Wukong really has that tankiness to the point where you'd want to opt in for an Irelia top. So then maybe they were expecting it in the mid lane. See, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But overall, it is going to inevitably be the Scion to get locked in. It does make sense that they wouldn't necessarily want to run the Scion into the Nasus. I think Scion into Malphite would make some sense, but I guess that just wasn't something that they really were too interested into playing. So now that these final picks do come out, the Mundo to match the Scion, likely in the top lane. Definitely an interesting pickup. Obviously, you look at the maximum dosage, going to be a really, really prevalent ability in this matchup because nobody on the enemy team really builds anti-heal. You're likely going to have like the Scion going for like a Brambling Vest early just to be able to kind of neutralize that ulti. As well as maybe the Heart Zapper that does do a bit of damage. Final pickup goes to the Brand. So really keeping their picks open through and through, not going to give away too much. The Brand could be in the bot lane. They could have the Swain there. They could put that Pantheon mid or jungle, put the Brand jungle. There's just so many options that they have to the point where it really doesn't speak to this draft. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, that Orianna is going to be able to really just kind of cement where they're trying to play. The Seraphine, no more chance to be in the mid lane, really. The Orianna going to be taking that over. Seraphine down in support. So over on this Jolly Roger Black Pearl side, they have a decent bit of AP with that Swain, Brand, and kind of the Mundo. We'll see what that does inevitably look like. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to a quick little break. We'll be back as the game now so close. We'll get to see who will be able to start off the series on the hot foot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we are back from a quick little break, my name is Sherry J, joined up by QSD. We are here. We get these picks. It's a pretty crazy draft that's composed by the JRBT. It's Jolly Roger taking a Brand to the mid lane, a Swain to the bot lane, and a Pantheon up towards jungle. Certainly not the expected avenue of approach, but it's what they'll opt in for.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Sherry. Brand going into the mid lane was not expected. Definitely sent me through a loop trying to draft for this team. It was not something we expected to ever see, much less for it to go mid lane and Swain to be the AD. It's a very strange draft, to say the least, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the big thing is going to be that Caitlyn Seraphine. They're likely going to have a field day dealing with a Swain, somebody who doesn't really start off too powerful, especially from range. So they're going to have to really pull out all the stops if they want to be able to succeed in this matchup down in the bot side. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they got something cooking. I mean, being this confident in this draft to be able to say, yeah, we're going to launch this game one. It certainly does speak highly to this team and how maybe just carefree they are, and how these picks might be something that they've been working on in practice, drafting in solo queue, maybe that brand mid. Who knows? But I'm sure that this should be a good match either way.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how it ends up panning out. It's a very frontline heavy comp, and it's going to be really hard for Kittens to get through some of it if this Caitlyn doesn't get fed. So I'm really excited to see how my players handle these people.
I mean, the Orianna has that chance, the Caitlyn has that chance, maybe the Encore from the Seraphine can find a nasty way through towards that Swain and just shut him down early. There's a lot of avenues and these approaches that we already see in the game. I mean, it's not looking too optimal in terms of that gold count. Everyone outside of the Swain is already losing that speed, as there's a semi-lead towards the mid lane bot support and top side, and I mean the Kittens just looking like a decent showing is already coming from them. And one of the big things I think we're going to be looking towards is that pathing from these junglers, both opting in for different sides, meaning that this Wukong likely going to try and fight for top side, something that might not be expected from a Mundo, but until level 6 they don't necessarily have the same level of survivability as they once would. And especially when you consider the decimating smash, that's going to be something that really doesn't do a whole lot to the Mundo once they have that shield coming on from the goes where he pleases. And I think if that's something that, you know, this Mundo continuously utilizes to their fullest, that spell shield can really become just a tool necessary to be able to keep them alive. And we'll see whether or not that is going to be able to keep them in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, what I want to see from Black Pearl in order for them to win this game is they have a very scaling comp, with Swain being an infoscaler, Mundo needing Heartsteel to be online. I need this Pantheon and this brand to be the bridge that gets my team into that late game. If they're able to do that, then my team is going to be able to play, they're going to be able to stand in front of my carries, and they're going to be able to win fights. Whereas the Kittens draft, this is something that is going to move as the game moves. Kate can still do stuff in the early game. Orianna can still do stuff in the early game. Whereas Sion is our scaler into this game. We want to be able to take this game and put them on their back foot. We do not want to give them the chance to scale into this game and then make us be put into these bad positions. As I say that, bot lane is already getting into a fight. I really want to see Caitlyn start hitting some of these skill shots and these autos. She's going to be able to do that, and we're going to take a winning fight. We're also going to be catching this giant wave coming into the bot lane. I want to see this freeze from my players, and I want them to just make it really hard for the enemy bot lane to play this game. I want them to suffocate them.
And so far, it's looking good, as only a little bit of a gold leading soon from the Swain, who's looking like these 5 CS could maybe give them some kind of advantage, as they already go for the back, take a lot of items, these small components being put into their hands. If the Caitlyn Seraphine doesn't opt to back soon, what that might lead to is the Swain getting a lot more options in the lane. But up in topside, flash brought in from both players, but in the end it will be KKG to take this early kill, the top lane solo Bolo, to open up against a Dr. Mundo too. Certainly not the most orthodox play.
Yeah, it's a massive play for this Sion to be able to get such an early kill and be able to stack this lead even further than he already has it. With him being allowed to collect these passive stacks and infoscale on this health, he's going to become an issue, especially being allowed to just free farm. This is going to cause an issue in the late game for the enemy team, and I don't know how they're going to truthfully deal with it if he's allowed to just continue to get solo kills and free farm.
Taking these solos, it's really going to be a craziness up in the bot side as the ulti coming in. The unstoppable onslaught now gonna give them that chance to try and fight in bot lane. Turret won't be able to get even a single touch onto the Sion, and what that could possibly lead to is a really good position from Nick Bob up in top lane, who's going to be able to get a plethora of plates, one would have to imagine, as they're gonna TP back on up. A good usage to be able to stem bleeding up on the turret early on, and in exchange, KKG instantaneously going to be going for the Drake, looking to take this one early as all three players investing time. This bot lane, I mean, so far the Swain Thresh bot lane not going to get any real momentum in this bot side. They clear the wave that crashed under turret, but in just a moment they're going to have to deal with these two bot and support duos working their way back into the lane and starting to apply pressure once more.
Yeah, massive play coming from the Swain, or from the Scion, to roam down bot side. He recognizes that he's going to be giving up some plates, but his lead is already just so big, it doesn't matter. He's able to create pressure on this bot side and get prio for them to do this Drake, and then TP back top and still maintain his lead and actually grow it a little bit.
Down in the bot lane, able to evade this utility coming in from the Seraphine. Both the beat drop as well as the high note, both going to be avoided, and still just poking, prodding, utilizing a ton of mana, down to around half of it. Not optimal by any means. They don't have a whole lot of items as well to be able to support them, just the Tear of the Goddess. Maybe if they had something that, I don't know. Because what do you buy a Lost Chapter as Seraphine? I feel like you do, but maybe they're going to go for something crazy. So, I mean, if you do get that Lost Chapter, that would be really nice to do this play, but you don't have that yet, so it might not be the optimal idea. I don't know.
Yeah, Seraphine is definitely one of those champions that does have really bad mana issues towards the beginning, but once she does come into either that Circlet or that Echoes of Helios, she does stop running into those as much, unless you just are permanently spellcasting, which hopefully we're not. We do want to try and conserve our abilities as we go into these fights. Oh my goodness, mid lane is turning into a cluster as we're trying to cast about this Seraphine. I don't know what's happening.
And down on the mid side, they'd use their abilities. Neither, or actually one ultimate gets utilized. Still that Brand gonna have theirs on the cusp, and I mean, with the utility they're pulling out, the Ghost Flash, certainly an interesting combo for the Brand to drop into play, looking to be really fast, really agile with their play. And over in top lane, again, I mean, Scion's going to thrive in a position like this where they're both low HP due to the fact that if you do end up having to pull out your passive and go into that secondary form at post-mortem, that can give them at least a little bit of a chance to be able to regain their gold after taking a beating from this Mundo, assuming they do end up dying. I mean, I think in the same respect though, the Mundo isn't going to be too upset at being at low HP. It's going to bait somebody like the Wukong to try and fight them. Meanwhile, they have that maximum dosage, but after the decimating smash comes in, Grand Starfall in return. Already phenomenal kill comes through as Jolly Roger puts them down for the start, and Flash comes out from King BV, won't be able to get over the wall. Instead, it will be the Draenei coming in from the Wukong, who pulls them down and sends it to a 1v2, or 1-for-1, sorry.
Yeah, the flash coming out from King Vivi and not being able to get him over the wall is so tragic and is going to put him behind a crucial summoner spell. Top lane taking an interesting fight. I don't know if there was exactly an angle with maximum dosage still being online. Oh, here comes the encore from Seraphine. We're looking for, oh my goodness, it's a massive kill in the bot lane. Now bot lane is able to get this push and they're going to be able to get a good back going. They may even be able to try and get some poke off under this tower, but are we going to lose too much mid for it?
It's a great play, investing 2 ultimates for the kill. Both the Encore able to connect to, and then the Command Shockwave to finish off the kill. It really was just a well-orchestrated play that's going to be able to put them on a great game. Already taking a 1k gold lead, 3 Void Grubs, and the Drake, a team that has completely being able to go full circle, taking a gold lead, taking objective lead, and taking a kill lead. Certainly not a group of players to be underestimated. This is a team that is going to be thriving in this competitive environment.
Yeah, Kittens, something that we definitely pride ourselves on is our ability to make these cross-map plays or just be able to send somebody down to a lane to create or alleviate some of this pressure. It's been something we've worked on extensively with Ratsu really enjoying the Scion. As much as he's stuck on the weak side duty or he's stuck on playing tanks, he excels at it. And I'm so proud of like the little work that we have done, him being able to learn so much.
And I mean, clearly both jungles are realizing the fact that they can help out in top lane. It's been one of those games where we really have seen it from both players. There was the scuffle coming through earlier. We're both utilizing that Grand Starfall to be able to make an entrance, as well as the Cyclone from the jungler on KKG. Now it is, I mean, I really just got to give a hats off performance from Rockleus, who has been just doing such a great performance on this jungler, right? They've already taken 3 objectives and we are not even 12 minutes into the game. They have been prioritizing so much, and I think that's something that really does go to show the communication between this team. Over on the side of Jolly Roger Black Pearl, they really haven't been getting that same level of opportunity. It's kind of just been them getting pushed into the wave, and what that does go to show is the fact that they really are playing for that late game. Swain, you had mentioned it too earlier, and something that we can't really allude to, the fact that they are kind of that infa scaling player, and so if they do end up getting, oh, that's tragic though, they force out another flash as the Cyclone comes in, instantaneously pulling them down. And I mean, I don't know, I think Jolly Roger Black Pearl though, their whole game plan revolving around the fact that they need to scale for a late game isn't going to work too well when they can't really play for this early game either, and they're just giving so many drakes away. Because even if you are a completely fed Swain going into a 30+ minute game, it's not going to matter too much if your opponents have a Soul, have a Baron, have a Elder, maybe even, who knows.
Yeah, it's really tough for the Swain to be able to just exist in this game, especially when he's not landing a massive amount of these skill shots. He needs to hit these in order to scale into this game, but when you're just not able to put any pressure on the enemy bot lane and you're just perma under tower, it gets a little difficult at times to get those stacks. But as for our jungler, yeah, Thero has been a massive cornerstone for this team. And every time we go into a draft meeting about what we're going to do for the week, it's always top side, you need to do this, bot side, you need to do this, mid lane, I really want to see this from you. Thero, this is your world. We live in it. I say it every week. This guy has been incredible in every single situation. He makes the correct plays. He's vocal about what he wants to do. And I couldn't have asked for a better jungler to be on my team, honestly.
And I think one of the big issues you're seeing with this Jolly Roger Black Pearl draft is the fact that neither their Pantheon or their Mundo's getting ahead too far, which means that a lot of what KKG is going to have to do is buy that magic resistance, right? We kind of already are seeing it from the Wukong and Scion. They're buying out those boots, giving them that resistance to both the brand plus the Swain, and I think that's something that really is going to cause a little bit of an issue for this team comp if they don't get a lot more damage on for that Pantheon, for that Mundo. If we start seeing like the Caitlyn starting to build up some magic resistance, it can really become a dicier game for the side of Jolly Roger Black Pearl to be able to get into.
Yeah, what you want to see as Jolly Roger Black Pearl, all mid lane fight coming through, and because of that earlier gank in the mid lane, oh my goodness, the brand has no flash and he gets re-ganked and he's punished for it with the Cyclone coming out from Wukong, getting a kill onto this Orianna, putting her back ahead even though she was down about 100 gold lead.
It's certainly becoming a situation that does become ever so much more dicier. You really cannot be allowing any of this to continue to transpire. Decimating Smash makes the connection, able to dish out a little bit of extra damage. Nick Bob sent under tower. Again, though, so many minions crashing onto the wave. It's going to be causing just this Mundo to be in such a difficult position. Now, Herald gets taken. They're already putting themselves even further into this matchup. And the question becomes, where do you want to place this? Do you want to put it down in topside somewhere that will likely be barren outside of the Mundo? Or do you want to try and send it through a mid lane somewhere that could possibly give you the most impact? Maybe even a curveball of a bot lane herald could be a good option. I mean, there's just so many thorough avenues of approach that they can take, and these routes really start to show themselves based on where this Wukong ends up pathing. The current plan certainly seems like they're going to hold on to it as long as possible as they go for the back, look to get a little bit more utility. They're going to buy a tunneler to give them a bit of extra health, a bit of extra damage, and as of now, Jolly Roger Black Pearl, they're gonna still be in a little bit of a rough spot. They got King Vivi on the other side of this wall. Could possibly look to instigate a fight. As of now, it is going to be that route coming in. Double encores. Well, they missed the flash! And Mystic Chaos goes down. There's the exhaust connecting on to this. Oh, but the double stun, and it is just a meat blender. King Vivi doing a great job being able to put themselves back up into this match. As now, Drake spawned. You're in a 3v5. Never mind. Apparently, this brand died somewhere else on the map. But still, without that mid laner, yes, it's rough, but you still got both your bot and support to be able to help out for the Drake, and this is a necessary one at that.
Yeah, I don't know what bot lane was doing. Like, 25 gold for a control ward when objective is up? Like, you can't be taking those plays. You don't know where the enemy jungler is. You don't know where anyone is. It's such a risky decision to take, and I don't think it's worthwhile in any decision.
Oh, down in the top side though. Already Cyclone coming out. And we are also going to be getting that ulti coming in from the Scion, the unstoppable onslaught, allowing for the stun to connect, giving them another turret as the Herald charges straight on in. Now, understanding the fact that there's likely going to be a punish for this overextension, backing up slightly, and it is definitely a respectable decision as you see the brand and this Pantheon both taking these extremities, one going, placing wards up in the river, one just taking their way over towards the top lane. That gives them a good idea of how they're going to look to try and play into this game. 3k gold above their opponents at this point, and Jolly Roger Black Pearl certainly seeming like they're not going to have a very optimal way of winning. It is going to require a lot of heroics from these players, and I specifically look at King Vivi to be the main player who has to make these heroic plays.
Yeah, the Pantheon needs to be able to get into these lanes and get his laners some of these shutdowns or a gold lead. Because as much as Pantheon does do a lot in the early game, this champion does tend to fall off the longer the game goes.
And over in the bot lane, both this Swain and Thresh marching up. It is going to be hit by the... Oh, the beat drop going to be able to give him a little bit of a workaround, but in the end of the night, it will be the Dark Passage to be able to get out unscathed. Look at this Wukong, though. Already. Triforce online. Sundering Sky online. So much in the pocket. They're really going to be one of the players to look out for. We are seeing an absolute masterclass performance from them over in the mid lane once more. Flash gets extended. Do they try and flash in for the extra? Will not use it just yet. They stay disciplined as they understand the fact that there's likely a Pantheon close in nearby. Will have that being the end-all be-all, and unfortunately for them, will not be able to get the kill onto Poogie.
Yeah, here comes the bot lane play. We see Scion coming in. We've already seen this earlier in the game, but is he going to be able to get anything? Encore is going to reach his Thresh, and it's going to come with the double E stun. And Caitlyn's just going to be allowed to auto freely. Now they need to get out of this Thresh or out of this Swain, or it's just going to be a continued ult. Are they going to take the dive here is the better question.
A genuine tragedy for this Thresh as they stay locked up throughout the entirety of that fight. Everyone just coming in and saying, yep, you are not going to be allowed to move. Beat drop stays, keeps this Caitlyn alive. Both these two players dodging, weaving, eluding their opponents, and with how they're doing so well at just keeping them at bay, this Mundo, so much time invested into the bot lane that's going to be a little bit useless as this Caitlyn Seraphine combo is just so good. Now, as there is going to be this Wukong coming in hot, Poogie going to have to stay back, stay disciplined, and unfortunately, the double hit from the discipline. Oh man, unfortunately, will be the Pantheon able to block out that ace in the hole from the Caitlyn on the other side of things. Still Nick Bob on the lower half of the jungle, able to come back and give the KKG squad the understanding of, yeah, we can't really fight into this just for the time being. We'd rather wait to use our time better, more efficiently, and the answer to that is going to be getting more items. To go for the IE, we'll be able to build that early on. And with already 2 items, this Caitlyn is looking strong.
Yeah, this Caitlyn in these last few fights has been a little on the weaker side as she hasn't backed. She's been sitting on that BF Sword cloak for close to 5 minutes at this point. This is her first back in a while, so finally getting that IE online is massive for every AD carry that plays the game.
Oh yeah, this is really starting to become a bit of a disappointing game if you look at the Jolly Roger Black Pearl squad. They need to be able to find some kind of comeback, and as of now, it just hasn't been there. The best case scenario for them was the time they found the double kill and were able to translate that into a Drake win. But even that wasn't necessarily the biggest win of all time. Neither bot laners had a single kill, and what that kind of means is not a whole lot of gold. No bounties to find, and I mean, yeah, that's good that you're able to get the Drake, but it's not something that's going to be able to change the tide of this game. So what we're really looking for from Jolly Roger Black Pearl is going to be some kind of workaround, right? And now, as there is going to be that decimating smash, likely to be able to lock up Nick Bob once more, it certainly is going to be a position where likely the maximum dosage does get popped, but not just yet. Instead, it is just Rotsu who's going to stay back, look to play the tower, make sure that they survive for as long as possible, as both top and junglers looking to back, and as neither of them trying to fight this Scion, it kind of does beg the question of how are they going to deal with them in the late game once this Scion does become so exponentially more powerful.
Yeah, at this point, we see the Wukong setting up for a lane gank. I don't think they know that this is currently warded, but they are looking to get something in order to start setting up for this objective. They want to be able to get this soul. Mountain Soul is huge for both teams, and they want to make a play for it. Oriana's caught out in the tri-bush.
Oh, look at that shockwave. That's ridiculous. And then followed up by the Encore, absolutely annihilating the side of Jolly Roger.
The Wombos are massive from this red side. This is exactly what we are drafting for. We want to see these ults come out, and we want to turn them into free objectives, free turrets. We want to be able to press R, and we want to be able to just get everything we can on this map.
You cannot be allowing this to happen, and at this point, Soul Point is on the table with the Mountain Drink getting slayed. It is definitely starting to become a ever so much more dicier squad. This team has been looking so volatile. They've constantly been able to take these objectives, and the few times that they don't go their way, it's just asks the question of what will Jolly Roger Black Pearl do? I mean, Kingdom of Kittens, Gasai, they have been just an absolute menace so far, and it's not like there's a weak link to this squad. Everyone has just been playing out of their minds.
Yeah, honestly, in my opinion, like, our weakest link has been our bot side, and they've been playing phenomenally. There's no way for this Swain to get into this game. He's only at 25 stacks at 24 minutes, which isn't really good considering how long range these abilities are, and especially playing into bot lane where you have 2 targets to stack. It becomes an issue of, does this Swain ever get to come into the game?
I think the answer might just be a resounding no, but we will just have to wait and see whether or not they can find that opportunity. So far, though, it has just been very desolate from them. Over in top lane, still both tops, both junglers taking a close nearby approach. Seems like there might be a bit of intention to try and fight for the Baron. Lots of mid laners are in the bot lane, and what that is going to mean is that they could try and utilize that as a fact of, okay, Solo Rusher has their teleport, Poogie does not. If we want to try and force a Baron, we could force a 5v4. Certainly could definitely be there if this Kitten squad wants to try and go for the engagement. Instead, though, as of now, they are still just fighting for top lane, as well as Poogie in such a rough spot. But the engagement now comes in under turret still. Helium Bamboo getting popped, and it is now just a very, very rough spot. TP comes on in. It is great, though, as this double knock-up sends them locked on through. Thankfully for this Thresh, the Dark Passage will be able to keep them safe for the time being. However, this counter-engage comes out.
Yeah, Seraphine going down for not a lot of anything, but it's not so much of a bad fight as we're able to force Mundo to blow his TP. Brand is on his back. He's not able to get into the fight. And we still don't give much to this Swain. It's not as bad as a fight as it may look on paper, but it's still not optimal for the Kittens.
Yeah, despite utilizing a lot of utility, Jolly Roger Black Pearl probably be happy with that, as they get to say, yeah, despite losing, we're still going to be able to have a lot of versatility with our Grand Starfall being up, with our maximum dosage being up. They can force how to fight with that. There's a lot of opportunity for these types of fights, but as the ace in the hole comes out, as well as this unstoppable onslaught, Encore next, double knock up with the decimating smash, as well as the exhaust brought in, flash from Rotsu. They stay in the fray, going for the decimating smash once more. King Vivi, the last one alive in the fight, will have to back up now that their turret has been exposed, and KKG just very much so overwhelming in the mid lane.
Such an amazing fight. We're able to force Pantheon to use his Grand Starfall and come and help his teammate for nothing. He's able to stop the push for only a second, but Swain still goes down to the Caitlyn Q, and it turns into a tier 1 and a kill for the Kittens. Ratsu is getting into a really low health state, and he may die for it, but are we going to be able to get the Pantheon out for it? Caitlyn Trap is laid under the Pantheon's dead body, and they're looking to blow this Pantheon up and possibly go for a Baron here.
I think Baron would be a very viable opportunity for them, as they're in that 4v4, and without a jungler, it makes Jolly Roger Black Pearl so much less fruitful when it comes to taking any real objectives. Turret does get taken down up towards top side against this Wukong, but they are going to have reinforcements quickly coming about, as never mind, actually, they will not need reinforcements, as this Mundo preparing to walk away.
Yeah, Mundo getting a lot of pressure on this top side, not allowing Kittens to go for that Baron. He's preventing so much from happening just by being on this map. He may not be doing the most, but him just being alive and saying, hey, if you want that Baron, I'm going to take the free gold on this top side. It's not something you want to give Mundo, because he is going to get big, and you don't have a whole lot of max health damage on this team yet.
Yeah, this is certainly just that situation of, I mean, how do you approach this? They gotta find some kind of way, and this is probably the optimal one of, yeah, we're gonna fight for this Drake, and if Jolly Roger Black Pearl can get a good team fight off on it, maybe they'll be able to get their way back into the game. Current state of things, though, it is looking rough. This Mundo already put down to a sliver of an HP line, gonna have to back up very, very quickly. Rest of the team gonna have a decent bit of HP. Ace in the hole does come out, won't be able to translate into a kill as of now. Still, though, this Mundo hovering around the extremities, not going to try and fight just for the time being, but as the Scion starting to come on close in proximity, everyone trying to get in front of them. Encore comes out, looking to try and get something done. Still, the decimating smash unable to make the landing. Great stuff as the Cyclone able to disrupt everyone involved, as well as the ulti from the Thresh doing so much damage, locking up their opponents. Flash comes through from the Wukong, able to get out, looking for a flank route. Double kill comes in from the Mundo. Make it the triple kill for the team, as Jolly Roger looking good, maybe not for the time being. Stun onto the clone, that's not the right person. Rotsu trying to back out as they're able to get off, and it's a not the worst team fight, but it's certainly not good, as KKG goes down, gives up a Drake. And at this point, it is certainly looking like Jolly Roger Black Pearl might have this game all done and dusted. But look at this, Wukong coming in hot, won't have the flash, and unfortunately won't have the steal either. Certainly seemed like they might have been having some kind of intention to possibly go for it, but in the end, relinquishes it.
Yeah, the fight looked so good in the beginning for Red Side, but then it just turned into a massive cluster of who do we target? I feel like there wasn't a lot of communication on who they should be going for. The Pantheon fell to 1, and then everybody just started to back away. There was just a whole lot of discombobulation and not a lot of who do we need to kill in this fight? Do we set up Caitlyn traps to zone them off from this fight? There was a whole lot of stuff that needed to be done, and it just didn't happen from either side.
Yeah, a little bit of a scrappy engagement as the pressure really starting to mount, because in a game number 1 like this, it really does set the tone in a best of 3 of, okay, either we win here or we have to reverse sweep. And it's definitely not optimal to lose in a game 1. I mean, you like to win, and especially when it's probably been, what, since a week or so, unless these teams are playing in multiple leagues since their last league play game. Last game that matters so much in this type of context, but we'll see whether or not this KKG squad will be able to bounce back from the loss. I think they did end up going down around 1,000 gold in that fight, so it really is a little bit of disappointment, but overall, definitely nothing that they can't overcome. The resilience and grit to get this far certainly has to be there. These players, they're all very strong in their own right. They've all had that practice. They put in the time. They put in the practice, and if they can create those chemical reactions with their teammates to be able to develop the playbook needed to be able to get these wins, I'm sure they can do it, especially when we look at how good this Scion has been so far. They've been really dynamic, approaching the map from so many different angles, as well as the Wukong, who is still just being such a masterclass performer to watch.
Yeah, another thing I want to see from the Kittens is, while Caitlyn does have LDR, that is her massive spike, especially being into this Mundo, into this Swain. She needs to be able to do that max health damage. But what I'm not seeing from the rest of the team is any anti-heal. This Mundo is going to be able to maximum dosage. He's going to live for as long as he wants. I need to see this on the Ori. I need to see it on the Seraphine. And Sion is being caught in the top side. His team is about to respond. He's just so unkillable right now.
Scion has already gotten to that point, I think, with 3 items online, almost at a 4th with the Tunnel and Ruby Crystal. They really are just getting to such a point in the game. And I think a big part of that as well is going to be the second item we can see in their hotbar, something that really just gives them that magic resistance to the point where, yeah, if you're a brand, you can't deal damage.
Yeah, it's almost at that point where if anybody on blue side builds any form of magic pin, what does Kittens do? The only people who have any true MR right now are Sion, Wukong. Everybody else is just running Merc Treads.
Yeah, I think that could definitely be a viable option, right? We kind of see that to an extent with the magic penetration from this brand. I think that they could definitely be able to make something. I mean, they only have the sorcerer shoes, so it's nothing like crazy, but overall, KKG, they're still losing this gold lead. It was at 3k just a little bit ago. There wasn't any kills yet. It is still dropping out of their lead. The momentum certainly starting to shift. See whether or not they do inevitably try and force a Baron. I think that definitely could be an option for them if they can try and get their bearings together, use this Wukong to fullest extent. I think when they were really playing off of their impact, that was when this team definitely looked like the sharpest we've seen them so far. In that last team fight, it was just kind of like it was kind of a clusterfest of, okay, we're gonna have our Scion frontline while the rest of us are trying to fight from behind, but unfortunately that just led to a whole lot of targeting, and it's now Rotsu's being called out. They're likely going to be forced into a little bit of a rough spot. The CC immune gets them back. I don't love that, and that is going to be themselves dying. They get forced out of a flash, and Rotsu will fall.
Yeah, this is a big death for Jolly Roger's Black Pearl, because now that their front line is gone, how does the Kittens play? It's really tough for them to be able to do anything unless they get a massive engage and they're just able to burst people quicker.
I mean, if they can do that, that certainly would be a very fun way to be able to keep yourselves in this game. We'll see whether or not that is going to be the case. As of now, though, we are seeing another turret destroyed. Drake is up. Both teams are looking to potentially start creating some ease of access to it. And with current state, it certainly seems like Jolly Roger is going to be able to put themselves up to 3 to make this the whole point for both teams.
Yeah, putting this at soul point is really big for JR as they have so much front line. But the Kittens have already recognized that they're not able to play for this. They were already set up on the top side. They want to cross map this.
And this is definitely not the best case scenario. Baron gets taken, nobody to steal. Now trying to force a fight. Everyone from Jolly Roger Black Pearl starting to chase on down. Looking to possibly flash over the wall. Goes for the hook. Won't be able to make the connection. Still though, passing on through. Nick Bob coming up towards top lane. As of now though, backs are commencing under turret.
Yeah, the anti-heal finally comes out on Orianna, and Caitlyn is finally at full crit. At this point, she is just getting her auxiliary items. She's just going to continue to do more and more damage as she has not hit her full power spike. It's starting to look a little more dicey for this Jolly Rogers team as the lead is starting to build up for the Kittens again, and they have this Baron. They're almost at their inhib, so it's going to become a very scary option if any of these turrets get cracked.
Definitely not optimal by any means as of now. Still just rumbling down the mid lane as they're looking to try and force these fights, find these objectives. Crack into base, decimating smash will be able to get rid of the spell shield. Nothing more. Still hooking onto the clone, unable to make anything more off of it. All 5 players now rushing in as the TPs do ensue. Coming on through, Rotsu going to be the front of this attack, starting to get this turret underway. Will finally go down. Nick Bob, low HP, needing to get out of the fray sooner rather than later. Nice decimating smash. First skill comes on as there is still going to be the resurrection from the Pantheon. Cyclone from this. It's Fujin to be the first one offline as Mythic Chaos able to deliver the kill. And as of now, the double hit with the decimating smash into the ace in the hole will be able to make the connection, unable to land the kill. Great stun comes on through for trackers, but it's a double kill from solo rushers and a triple kill from Rotsu to end it off as it is game 1 done and dusted. KKG will take the win. Phenomenally played from Kingdom of Kittens Gasai.
Yes, sir. We love to see this from the Kittens. They are the true champions of the people. Nobody else can say anything.
Yeah, that was absolutely absurd with such a phenomenal game number 1. You really look at this and you gotta say to yourselves, this team is looking hot in the ESL.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the team be able to pull it back together. They started to lose it a little bit in the mid game, but they're able to figure out what they were doing wrong and just bring it back together and finish the game out strong.
Yeah, this team really did have a lot of prevalence, a lot of resilience, a lot of everything needed. Despite a couple lost team fights, it still ended up favoring them in the end. Great job and entirely well done. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're joining you once more. Kingdom of Kittens, Gasai taking a dominant game number 1. And now as they face off in game number 2, match point on the ropes. My name is Sherry J. Joined up once more. QSD is over here. And we got a big draft heading your way. I've only gotten 3 words. What a draft. That's what I've been told. And now I guess we'll have to wait and see what these players have cooked up.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil much of it, but I'm not going to lie. It was a draft of all time. Probably not my greatest work, but it'll get the job done if we play it right.
Well, I'm already looking at this, and we got a lot of similarities to what we saw last game. The Jinx, Varus, both getting banned. The Vi on the other side of things, same stuff as last time.
Yeah, our draft plan coming into this was we know that Fujin's best carries are this Jinx Varus, and we do not want to allow him to carry these games into the end game and possibly just end these games. So we want to take control, and we want to play our game.
Well, that's a smart take. We'll see where this does end up heading us as Kingdom of Kittens. Guess I guess that first pick and what they're going to opt in for, one would have to imagine, based off of the bans that have gone against them, likely that ADC might be something that will be a quick pick, as once more that Smolder Ash getting banned out, something that likely is going to be followed up with as similar ADC bans we saw in the last time. This time around, though, very simple. You go for the Xin Zhao, one of the most prevalent characters in the current League of Legends meta. You know what they say, if it's not Xin Zhao Jarvan 4, it's not busted.
Yeah, Thero is just so dominating on these bruisers in the jungle. We say, hey, bro, what do you want to play? He gives us a character, we're like, all right, rip it. It's as simple as that with that guy.
The response to Volibear, which is definitely one of the picks of all times, could possibly be in the top side, maybe the jungle. I mean, it's been a very long time since I've seen a Volibear in competitive league.
Yeah, we know going into this draft what these players like to play. So we saw this come out. We knew immediately where this was going to go, and we weren't too worried about it being a flex. So we were just excited to see what their AD was going to be. And as you see, it turned out to be Twitch. Kind of threw us through a loop because this character doesn't get much playtime by anyone anymore.
Interesting enough. Yeah, the Twitch, certainly something to say the least. Gives you a little bit of that sneaky potential to go invisible, try and get a nice flank route off, maybe go for some lethality to be able to execute someone early. We'll see whether or not that is going to be able to pick up some damage. The Senna locked in, give some sustain to your skirmishers. That jungler gonna like that, especially one would have to imagine. Certainly can play nicely. We'll see whether or not that is gonna be the case, but overall definitely a good pickup.
Yeah, we're at this point in the meta where we know what the next patch notes are gonna be. So talking about our AD, it was very, hey, we play the Senna, we just don't pull it out very much. Use it or lose it. We're about to get it massively nerfed.
That's definitely unfortunate. Actually, I haven't seen the patch notes yet, unfortunately.
Senna is getting gutted, I'll say that.
It's unfortunate. Well, yeah, I mean, Senna, it's one of those characters that, I mean, I don't know if she needed a big nerf, but obviously Riot always liking to change up the meta, diversify the characters, make something new, and as the Milio gets locked in, the Twitch gonna have a nice partner to be able to keep them alive.
Yeah, the big thing we're looking for so far with our draft is we're looking to take these fights and scale into the game, almost like Jolly Rogers wanted to last game. But we're looking to give our team an actual bridge with this Xin Zhao. Our biggest worry going into this draft, Twitch likes to leave fights, press Q, and just end up behind people and just blow up your backline. So we're looking to try and stop that so far.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly does seem like it's in the realm of possibilities. Once more, some more bans we saw last time. Tarek getting, or not Tarek, Nass is getting banned out, as well as the Irelia on the other side of things. Neither team looking to let that top lane of pool go unmatched. We'll see what that final ban does look like from Jolly Roger Black Pearl. They got a lot of opportunity to be able to get rid of some of the mid laners that might be seen, and that will be their case once more as they ban out the Silas, the response being the Vex. So now that we do get rid of all of our bans, we'll see what is going to be found for Jolly Roger Black Pearl. Do they want to try and invest that mid lane pickup this time? Keep that Volibear hidden for where it's going to end up being placed, either jungle or top? Are they going to make that known? We'll have to wait and see. Interesting. The Ornn. So I guess that still could be either way. I mean, the Ornn jungle, I mean, it's not the most common thing. It has happened in the past, though, so maybe that's going to be the case. But realistically, Volibear going to be put in the jungle Ornn top side, and we'll see what they are going to be able to play with it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, not trying to leak too much about our draft and what we were looking for, but we did really want to see the mid matchup come out early. We did want to be able to play our AP assassins we like so much in the mid lane, but tragically the Ornn did come out, and we were going to have to just lock in something to lock down this Volibear and Twitch.
Yeah, the Malzahar, we saw this in the 1v1 ARAM duel. A very, very key player. I mean, wait, no. Wait. Wasn't, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe this game is just weird. I thought that, yeah, we're just gonna go past that. Set to be the final lock-in, going up towards the top lane, giving them a little bit of AD damage. And so it makes a lot of sense, right? Your set's going to be the one really going to be loading up this Volibear Twitch. If they can connect, it can really become a pivotal point in the game. So I think that it's going to be a lot of this set, just looking to constantly put down haymakers and just maybe even just using that showstopper to be able to isolate somebody, like this final pick being the Victor, who is going to be locked in for mid lane.
Yeah, the thought process with the set was, hey, we did so well in top lane. We typically have you on tank duty. What do you want to play, big dog? I got faith.
It is definitely a fun composition from both sides. I think on paper, you kind of got to give it a little bit to Kingdom of Kittens Gasai, just because of the fact that Jolly Roger's Black Pearl, a big question is going to be, what does the sustain look like? Not a whole lot. I mean, your Victor is going to be a little bit protected by the Ornn, but under the assumption that we could see like a showstopper getting placed onto them past the Ornn, it definitely does create a little bit of a precarious situation that will start to be able to put everyone in a bit of a diversified spot. So as we do head on straight into the Rift, let's see whether or not that 2-0 will ensue, or whether or not Jolly Roger's Black Pearl can bring this one back to a game 3.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this game goes. What I'm looking for blue side to win this game, Senna has to scale into this late game. I want to see Set just giga farming top lane and putting the hurt down, and I need Thero to be as dominant as he was in game 1.
I think if all that happens, then it really does just start to spell out G to the G's. But we are always just going to have to wait and see what will inevitably transpire as these two teams meeting up on the Rift. Obviously, last time around, the bot lane not nearly as influential as that mid to top side, as neither bot laners really took too many deaths until around that 10-15 minute mark. Meanwhile, it was a all-out warfare up in top lane for the majority of it. And I think this time around, with the set being put into the realm of possibilities, it's going to give them a lot more priority to be able to win out in this lane against an Ornn. Yes, you might not be able to find a lot of kills, but you'll constantly be able to have that wave pushed under tower. And once this Ornn really starts to have to deal with all these minions, they don't really have the attack speed nor the general DPS to be able to deal with it easily.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what is going to come out from all these players. This set is already putting such a hurt on this Ornn top side, and it's not looking good. King Vivi opting to not play for an early gank and just path all the way down to bot because he wants to get this Twitch ahead. Personally, I think level 2, I may have gone for the set.
Definitely could be a play. As of now, though, in the mid lane, neither player taking a whole ton of damage just yet. Oh, they get locked up. There's the ignite. Do they find the kill? Answer is yes. The ignite just sticking down the health, and already an opening kill. 2 minutes and 20 seconds in.
First blood solo Bolo to the set top lane. This is exactly what we wanted when we drafted this character. I asked Ratsu, I was like, what do you want here? I got faith you can do it this time around. He said, I like set here. And I said, if you promise not to coin flip every trade, set is yours. And he did exactly what I wanted. He went out there and he just opened the game with a massive kill, giving him a large spike of gold.
This has certainly been a pretty good game already. 600 was on the set, and that definitely is going to be someone who is likely to be able to scale this up. They still haven't backed, meaning that the goal that they have been able to get forward isn't going to mean a whole ton until they do inevitably go for the back. They are still same level on that level 4, meaning, yeah, I think this set realistically... That's kind of one. That's like the one disadvantage to picking up the ignite, the fact that you won't be able to get the teleport. But already, I mean, the set doesn't really necessarily need it, but they might need it right about now. But if you're the Ornn, you can't really invest too much into this, as you know that is going to be a very, very lethal player. And if a Jin Zhao gets ahead, they get ahead.
Yeah, it's really hard for this Ornn to play right now, as he knows that his jungler is pathing for bot side. So going deep into this lane is really risky because you don't know where the Xin Zhao could be, and you've already lost an entire kill to this set. He may not have backed on his gold, but still, he is a very oppressive character that when you think you're going to kill him, he just presses W and congratulations, half your health bar is gone in true damage.
Down towards the bot lane. Not a whole lot happening still. I mean, these players, they were so good in last game. We saw that Caitlyn, Seraphine really putting up a lot of damage, a lot of pressure. And that Encore was one of the abilities that certainly did facilitate a whole ton of it. So one of the big questions I'm going to be having for this game is what's that team cohesion going to be looking like cross map, right? The ace in the hole. It looked good for sure, but now that we see the Dawning Shadow being the current ult for the Senna, will they be able to utilize this to be able to support, say, like, Rotsu across the map? And if they can really make a lot of value out of this ultimate to be able to help them against that Ornn, we could really be seeing some creative plays coming out.
Yeah, it gives Cinna the opportunity to also stack gold herself with all these assists being able to come from anywhere on the map, having a global ultimate. So her being able to get into the game even just that tiny bit of a minute quicker, that's massive for an ADC who wants to perma-scale in a game and just take over once that minute 20, 25 hits.
Already, yeah, Drake going to be taking this is a completely new theme for Jolly Roger Black Pearl. Last game, I mean, until like the 20-15 minute mark, they hadn't taken a single objective. This time around, they are going to be able to start off strong. They take the Drake. They're still down around 1,000 gold, but it's looking a little bit better from them, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, they're really dominant on this map right now. They know that they're so much stronger in every lane and in the jungle at this moment. I actually really like this from the Kittens. They recognize that they can't win right now, and there's no ability to play for this objective. So they're just going to try and invade the top side. Thero isn't able to see any of the camps with a vision plant, so he knows that this jungler is still on his bot side, and he's able to get something going in the top lane potentially here.
Top lane with Jolly Roger Black Pearl under turret taking the damage. Finally, this Ornn gonna respond in kind, but it's still not gonna give him a whole lot of opportunity. Ignite gets put forward, still having the flash up, could possibly try and force something out if they do have some kind of intention to like go for the showstopper or something of that kind. So far though, not really going to be doing anything in that realm of possibilities. Call of the Forge God comes through, but as of now the showstopper comes online and Rotsu shuts them down. Nick Bob getting overwhelmed, getting overzealous under tower, and it is going to cause their faltering.
Yeah, this is a massive solo for Rotsu in the top lane, but right now you can see it on the minimap. He's overstaying. This Volibear is about to walk behind him, and I don't think he has the ability to kill him here.
Yeah, up in topside, Rotsu might finally get taken down. They're gonna be making him work for it though, but finally in the end that kill will be converted. Rotsu staying for a little bit too long, and King Vivi will be able to capitalize with a flash in hand to pursue their targets. As we look towards KKG, looking to try and connect these chains, won't be able to make it happen, just evading it for the time being.
Yeah, massive kill for Vivi to be able to get himself into this game even that little bit quicker, punishing this set on the top side. It's going to turn into a lot of gold that could potentially be lost on the top side, and even an objective take over Thero.
So far is just going to be KKG working to try and get this wave under tower. As of now, crashes in, won't be able to take any plates off of this, but they do still just dish out some extra damage. Down towards the mid lane, going to have the Xin Zhao close in proximity towards this Victor, sitting under tower, likely not going to be able to make anything happen. Nick Bob relinquishing their current possession over the lane, allowing this to now go towards bot side. Rotsu not going to be able to do grubs alone. Crescent Guard out, might be able to find the kill. That will do it, as the Nether Grasp will just be the nail in the coffin, as it is a third kill. The Kittens are overwhelmingly potent in this game. We are not even 10 minutes in, and there's almost a 2k gold wait.
Yeah, this is a massive kill coming over for the Kittens, as red side's bot side is no longer theirs. They lose it to the Xin Zhao. He gets further ahead, and now Xin has the opportunity to back and then play for this top side objective, while Rotsu is so far ahead, being 1k ahead. This is going to be massive on who gets to play for these grubs. If the Kittens give it up, it's not a massive deal, but if they take it, this could be bad news.
I think it already is bad news. I mean, this is just being so unfortunate. Nick Bob trying to make an aggressive stance. Rotsu, they got the ulti in hand. Will they try and drop it? Answer is going to be no. Going back up towards lane. Still, though, Nick Bob looking to try and play close. Down a level. Could possibly be going all out onto him if you want to try and drop in an ultimate. Obviously, the Called Forge God is going to be out there. They do launch it, but the Showstopper comes in as well. Ulting out, it is the Volibear to be able to double up. Still, though, Void Grubs in possession from the side of the Kittens. They can easily take this. Finally, we're going to be seeing the mid laner starting to appear, but Poogie unable to try and make any type of actual contestation. They're going to have to go back over to lane, and despite investing your mid laner, or not mid laner, sorry, support player into this fight, they are still going to be able to find this scot-free. Rotsu up in topside, not going to be having a whole lot of movement after they get hit with the smite, but a flash as well. Huge investment for no ROI.
Yeah, this is massive. Kittens send their support topside, knowing that Senna has so much rain and so much sustain that they don't need to be in lane for her to safely farm just yet. They're able to send the target topside, they're able to take a clean fight, and Jolly Roger's mid laner just isn't able to push the wave fast enough to get there for this giant fight that happens. A few ultimates get invested from both sides, but it just turns into an objective take for the Kittens, and more vision being put in this top side for anything else that they want to do. They know the camps are gone, so they know Volibear has to be on this bot side for sure now.
Look at the pings. They understand their enemies looking to try and fight for the Drake. Silence Effect comes out. They're able to make the connection. Flash comes through. There they go. Nether Grasp instantaneously going to be trying to find the kill. Flash comes through. We'll be able to find it. Solo Rusher the one to do it. Crescent Guard as well coming on out after the Dawning Shadow. A well-orchestrated play gives them a free kill. And now I mean, it is no more mid laner, no more Victor in the realm of possibilities. Trying to fight still would be an absolute mistake, as you already know this Drake is likely going to be taken. But still, Jolly Rogers liking this idea of fighting. All three players getting close up and personal, going to be able to make a connection, trying to possibly engage with this Volibear being the front of this spear, but it is still going to be the wind becomes lightning to make the first connection, trying to still push in, heals coming through. As of now, though, the double silenced effect, this Milio healing is doing some absolutely godlike instructional, but
Jolly Rogers looking to go back in.
Good. Oh, that's insane! Massive ult from the Volibear, looking to try and make something happen, but they instantly fall. Still, though, it is going to be the Xin Zhao trying to hold them off. They take the Drake, but they lose the fight. 2 players down, so low HP. At this point, it is all but done. You cannot have your support player die too, so they're just gonna back out. That's a little bit of a tragedy, but they still take it in the end.
Yeah, jungle lead instantly gets flipped. This Volibear is now ahead, granted only by 30 gold, but this is such a massive objective to take, but losing the fight is not worth it. At that point, honestly, Jolly Rogers going back in, kind of a head scratcher, but then Kittens losing the fight, you just take objective and you leave. There's no reason to ever take the fight.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a interesting play, maybe a little bit of a question mark in their heads as well. Maybe some loose comms saying, yeah, let's fight this. Maybe some people going, no, let's not fight this. Who knows? But in the end, it was just going to be a little bit better play. Jolly Rogers taking a risk and ending up paying out in their favor. And Jolly Roger going to look to have a little bit of a opportunity down towards bot side. You look towards the amount of players in this proximity of their jungler pathing downwards as well. Could possibly end up fighting in this regard, but they do end up getting spotted out. So Volibear, no longer having the element of surprise on their side, will have mythical or mythic just looking to back out, play under tower, go for a back possibly until they realize that that Volibear isn't going to be chasing. What is this? They go showstopper under tower, followed up by the ignite and flash. Call of the Forge God comes out, but it's just way too late.
A little bit of a risky play, I must say. I don't think I would ever take it, but it ends up working in the end. They know that the Volibear is pathing up, so he's not going to be able to save the Ornn on this play, especially with Thero catching vision of him in the topside jungle. They may have a play on this red buff.
Oh, there's the ulti coming in from the center. The Dawning Shadow comes through as well as the Crescent Guard. You're going to have the ulti coming through from this Volibear and the flash as well. Both mid and top, or jungle, sorry, might get taken out, but no, barely not able to make the kill, come down with a haymaker.
Yeah, the Victor falls trying to walk up and help, but he gets nether grasped by the Malzahar, just leaving him in such a low health state that he's not able to actually walk up and save his Volibear. Volibear does end up getting out by the skin of his teeth, but it's just not worth. They lost so much for it, and they just gave up so many kills.
Unfortunately, giving this up, it is a little bit of a tragedy in the making. 0-3 or not ideal by any means, especially this early into the game, or known for the tankiness that they provide to a team. And unfortunately, they're just not able to utilize this to the fullest.
Yeah, this is exactly what Kittens want. They want their top side to become a brawler that is just unmatched, and it's happening. They want their mid lane to be able to lock down anybody who ever walks them. They want Cinder to scale into this game. Right now, Cinder at 40 stacks, each of her breakpoints on her passive being 20. So hitting that 40, she's about to get more range. She's about to get more crit chance, which is going to eventually turn into lifesteal and just being untouchable. Even if Twitch does just walk behind her, it's going to be impossible to get to her because she's just going to outrange you in every way.
Going under tower, looking to try and find this one early. Goes down, unfortunate to say the least. Rotsu just going to be able to farm these minions without a care in the world.
Yeah, being able to get this first tower is such a big lead for the top lane. 2k gold. This is where the majority of all the gold on this team is. And him being able to continue to snowball and build this lead, eventually this Twitch is going to walk at him, and he's just going to press W, and it's going to be bye-bye rat for him.
Already, they're doing that to an Ornn practically. They got that showstopper on the line. They're looking to try and push it away from the tower, and they'll be able to do exactly that. Utilize the ignite, utilize the ignite. Oh, they didn't have it up, and that'll cause them to fall as the Call of the Forge God says, bye-bye, set. Go
Yeah, I'll just say
down.
it. I'll say it. My top laner's hinting. We gotta bench this guy. I don't know what to do. Go next.
Certainly not the most ideal play by any means, but in the end it was a very, very close call as we go up towards top mid side. Oh, Wind becomes lightning, able to connect. They look to try and make something happen. Not going to be able to figure out the kill. Goes to poke out a little bit more as this Malzahar able to make a few connections in their utility. So far, though, it's a great stun onto Mythic. Flash comes out. Looking to try and follow up, but King Vivi inevitably going to fall down. Root comes through, everyone locking them up, stun into some heals. As of now, though, King Vivi looking to be the frontal attack, hits onto 3, takes the Taric down early. But you look at the Xin Zhao doing a lot of damage, disrupting the midfield as now 2 players hit on in. Still though, Nick Bob, close HP, hit the blast cone straight into the fray, almost gets that Victor killed. Flash comes out from Solo Rusher, ignite onto Nick Bob. They're looking to try and take him after that kill. Nick Bob right hat onto him. And as of now, not going to be able to convert too much. It's going to be a little bit of a backup. This Victor now going to have to pay in full as they're going to get a little bit overextended, a little bit overexcited, and it's going to cause them to lose their life in the end and maybe lose a Drake as well.
Yeah, the fight was looking really risky. Vivi was able to get into this backline and just put the hurt down on Senna and Malzahar, but they're able to continue to just sustain and walk him down, which is exactly what they needed. So they're able to eventually kite him out, get the kill, relink with their team, and just win the fight and the objective. This is exactly what needs to happen with this blue side draft, and it needs to continue to happen if they want to win.
And I think that's definitely something we could see from them. I mean, it's almost a 5k gold lead at this point, and if they can continue to just be able to mount this massive lead they got coming, I mean, I don't really know who's going to be the one to be able to stop them. The only real player that comes to mind is going to be King Vivi, but on a character like Volibear, you don't really have that volatility, so to speak.
Yeah, what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for this Victor. Right now, I'm going to be so honest, I don't play a lot of mages, so I'm a little confused by the Sheen build. Is that supposed to be Lichbane?
Yes. Yes.
In my opinion, why are we building Lichbane? I don't want to ever be within auto range of any of these champions.
I think Lichbane still is okay. Maybe. I don't totally. I mean, I also don't play Victor at all. I've played a few mages, but not even close to enough to be able to understand the matchup in this capacity, especially when you consider somebody like Xin Zhao, who's going to love to be in auto attack range from you. As now, King Vivi getting close, hits the Wind becomes lightning, not going to be able to capitalize on it, realizing so many players in close proximity, inevitably backing up, looking to possibly go up towards Baron, spawning in 5 seconds. Not going to have a lot of information on this jungle. It's only a singular ward in the top side, but that's all they really need. They have 5 players over here, all looking to be able to take this one early. The only player sticking a little bit farther out from the rest of the pack is going to be the Senna, sitting on the backside, which could definitely be the frontal target for this JRBT squad. If the Jolly Rogers able to get in, they already use the blast cone to get over, flashing out, inevitably going to be able to get a little bit of information, but still it is going to be the Xin Zhao starting off nicely. Call of the Forge God comes out, will be the Taric ult to respond. Already the look at this Twitch. Fujin getting instantaneously taken down as the solo kill comes through instantly, though it is just a Wind becomes lightning, able to connect onto 2 Mythic Chaos for the opener, and it's just a flash over the wall from Therocles, as well as Therocles for a double kill onto King Vivi, looking to close out this game after a Baron take.
It's just such a tragic scene from Jolly Rogers at this moment. You know that they have no vision, you clear the vision, and you're looking to go in for a possible steal. Volibear comes over with his ult and sees that they're not even close and knows that he can't fight this without his team actually being there and has to blow his flash. Then it turns into a full-blown fight. At this point, Senna is 4-0 with 2 items. You can't ever reach this champion. It's just really hard to play into this team, and it just looks grimmer and grimmer by every second that Twitch isn't able to just walk around and one-shot this backline.
Yeah, this has been just not the game for Jolly Rogers Black Pearl. They've been constantly overwhelmed, overexhausted out of these fights, and this utility, it's coming at them full force, and not even really. I mean, KKG, they didn't even invest a lot of some of their more potent ults into that fight. I don't think we saw the Showstopper. I don't think we saw the Nether Grasp. And so when you don't really use any of your main dueling abilities, it kind of does beg the question of how on earth are you winning this, and yet they did in such comfortable fashion. So now that you got these Baron minions up, question becomes, how on earth are Jolly Roger going to respond? They try and send their Ornn topside, will get a ton of damage placed onto them. This set not even going to care about it. They already get this turret down to around half HP. Make it a third, make it a quarter, make it nothing at all, as it's already going down.
Yeah, it's just so hard to play into the Kittens right now, because in that last Baron fight, I don't believe they used any ultimates. I don't think they blew any spells, they didn't blow any ultimates. So coming into this next objective, or into this next fight, it becomes, how do you fight them when they have everything up?
Well, that's a good way to start it, and you take down the set, but you invested so many players up towards topside, it means that bot lane's just going to be yours for the taking. As they got a ton of minions coming on up, Wind Becomes Lightning, gonna be able to make the connection, as well as this Dawning Shadow to be able to finish off, make sure that your team stays healthy. Nick Bob as well, close in proximity, won't be able to make a whole lot coming out, as they're just going to have to back up consistently. When Becomes Lightning again to make the connection onto the Volley Bear on the other side. I think King Vivi not going to have any capitalization on them. Instead, just going to allow them to be able to maintain presence under turret. As now that these minions do drop the Baron effect for the time being, they're going to go down towards mid side, apply the Baron effect there, and now it's just another kill, another turret to go down, and a Drake to follow up, most likely, putting them on soul point.
Yeah, it's just so hard for this red side to do anything. We talked about, how do you kill any of these players with all of their abilities up? Their response was, use 3 people topside and all of our abilities. At that point, you're dropping tier 2, tier 3, and inhib. It's just not worth it at that point. The set didn't even have a shutdown at that. And now we're dropping to soul point? Like, this is...
It really looks like we're seeing this game cemented in the history books with a 2-0. It will require a massive, massive rejuvenation from this Jolly Roger Black Pearl squad if they want to be able to take it away from that. But at the current state of things, I'm really not seeing any reality. Flash does get expended after 3 players attempted to be able to try and choke them out. Unfortunately, just not going to happen. This time, we're going to be seeing... just that kind of bare bones start as everyone's starting to spread out thin in numbers and look to possibly play 3 different waves. But I mean, there's not a lot you can do. 2.5 minutes till Baron, 4 minutes till Drake. Just gonna have to wait as of now.
Yeah, at this point, I think you just have to say, who is our carry on red side? Let them farm this bot wave and this mid wave, get as much gold as they can, and possibly get an item before this next fight. I don't see any other way to go. But looking at it, Twitch and Victor are both confused on who the carry is, and they were both trying to farm this bot lane.
I mean, I don't even know. I guess you'd want to feed gold into your Twitch and hope that they can isolate the Senna, but... because if you farm into the Victor, like, the Victor's just gonna get annihilated. So you need someone who either is really tanky or really sneaky. But the Ornn is also definitely not the player you're gonna look to pump gold into.
Yeah, it's just so hard for red side to do anything on this state. The players aren't squishy enough, and they're not able to be poked out because of Sinecue or turret heal. It's just, it looks grimmer and grimmer by each moment, and I don't know if there's any way for red side to get back into this draft or into this game. The only way I see it genuinely happening is Kingdom of Kittens just forgets they have hands.
Well, we have seen League of Legends games where that has happened.
This is true. I have seen this from Team Liquid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it's over just yet, but it definitely does look over. just yet. I mean, it's a 12k gold lead, and overall, when you're this early into a game with this substantial of a lead, it's very difficult to drop it. As of now, though, the minions coming in, not going to be able to do any damage really to the turrets, just kind of allowing Jolly Rogers to kind of wait. They're going to look to try and fight up towards top side, make sure that this base does become as barren as possible, as this is going to be a early advantage given on over. The set being a very early playmaker into it. Final plate does get taken as the Nether Grasp as well, going to look to secure the kill. Won't be able to call the Iron Forge. Connects up to 4. That's insane as they get the kill, shutting down the opener. As now Showstopper comes on, trying to connect onto the Milio. Won't be able to make it happen just for the time being. Flashing forward, connects up to 3. That's ridiculous. King down as well, as this is a complete masterclass performance from the set on this Kitten squad, as Rotsu just completely decimating the lobby and will take a 2-0 victory, and that was absolutely phenomenal to say the least.
Yeah, what a dominant game from the Kittens. This was an insane performance. It was even more dominant than the first game. They saw the issues they had, they cleaned them up, and they just did not allow the enemy team to breathe.
And that was just